And I hopefully you guys can actually hear me. I think you guys can hear me. I'm gonna put this on so you guys can get the little intro. Give me a second, waiting for my screen to load up. I actually had it loaded up. Looks like it doesn't want to load up for me. There we go. Enjoy the intro. Alright guys, what's up? It's Crimson 60620. And if you can hear me, let me know. Let me test my live stream out. There we go. Yeah, so you guys can hear me. Let's go ahead and put some background music in it. So give me a second. Alright, so I'm coming to you guys tonight because I actually wanted to do it earlier today. Get the mic out the way of the shirt. Let you see the shirt. Let the shirt actually rule. Alright, so I'm coming to you guys because I wanted to actually do this a little bit earlier today. But once I get to the story, you'll understand what I mean. So, what Wednesday morning, and this is the background. Wednesday morning, I wake up and I go to the laundromat. It's like half off of the cheap machines Wednesday. Yeah, I get up early enough in the morning to actually go wash, and I get up early in the morning anyway, and so I go wash. And here in the Chicagoland area, there is something called MeTV. And they do a lot of old shows. So, as you can actually probably tell by the title, Diff'rent Strokes came on. And I got it right in the middle of the show. It was 5:45 in the morning. And it was a scene where Mr. Drummer, you know, the rich white businessman who adopted two black boys who lost their parents, he actually came across, you know, the scene opened up where he's like, we can't tell the kids that, you know, the uncle had actually owned slaves. That's how he became rich. And it was ironic. The scene was going on. The scene was actually playing out. Kind of ironic because he was talking with his sister, and you can tell by the conversation like they were really disturbed. Because in reality, well, not in reality, in the universe of the story, Drummer wasn't at all a racist. He took in two African American boys and actually treated them like their own, like his own children, and not treated them as his own children. He actually they were his children. And to find out something this negative and this historic blemish actually was part of his legacy of how he obtained some of his wealth, it was just one of those things where it just did not comprehend. And especially as a parent of somebody who took in African American boys. And you know, the sister in there, she was kind of she was headstrong. It was just like it was just like a microcosm of how that time of like headstrong teenage outspoken girl, two African American boys. And it was just one of those things where if it was made today, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. It'd be more of a fish out of water story versus what it really was at that time. And God, it's the fact that he found out, and the first reaction was to burn the letters, was to hide it. And the first reaction, and they just said, we can't tell these people who look up to us that we may have had something wrong in our past. And I get it. I totally fucking get it. They were actually donating the land that the guy was actually owning to a community center in Harlem. So it was good coming out of this horrible blame and blemish and stain on the reputation. And the fact that they tried to hide it first, and then when the kids found out, the kids actually, they didn't react to it the best way. And just so I can put this down there, it is actually, and you can't find it on YouTube. I wish I would have found it on YouTube. I wish I would have had clips. And the kids reacted to it just horribly because Willis's friend was like, all white people are the same. And Willis was like, no, he's going to tell us. And, you know, Mr. Drummond was like, no, we're not going to tell him. We didn't want to tell you. Because he started to justify. He's like, whoa, good is coming out of it. Whoa, I didn't do it. Whoa, you know I'm not a racist. And it's just like, we get it. We fucking get it. And this is just pertinent right here, right now, where you actually see where we would totally first, we deny the history that happened in this country across the globe, where indigenous or native people were abused, mistreated, and taken advantage of to make somebody else rich. And then those descendants say, well, it didn't happen to me. It didn't happen to you. Why am I being held blame for it? And that's where we need to have a different set of reactions. Not to say that, oh, you did this wrong. You pay for your ancestors. The sins of the fathers are visited upon the son. No, but when we try to just outright, just fucking act like it wasn't there, or act like it's, when we try to act like it's okay because the means outweigh the ends. The ends outweigh the means. Whatever the fuck it is. That's when you have fucking problems. I get it. No one wants to be associated with people that do horrible shit. With the Me Too movement, with the get rid of the Confederate statues movement, I get it. You want to hold up a piece of history that says, here it is blameless. You want to hold up a hero and say that you've never done anything wrong. But that's not the case. I can literally say that there are certain things, certain heroes of mine or people that I respect their journey that have done serious fucked up shit. For example, unlike most people that read Greek mythology, I was never a big fan of Hercules. I wasn't, you know. Perseus, yeah, I love Perseus because he never thought too highly of himself, even though he was a son of Zeus and he killed an unkillable monster. But his thing was, I have to protect somebody. I have to, a goal I should accomplish. He never went for goals. Odysseus, fucking Odysseus, Odysseus is probably the one who won the Trojan War for the Greeks with the idea of the horse. But he was too prideful, and he never met a port he didn't sit in or a woman that he didn't sail in, if you get my drift. But these were character flaws, and you acknowledge that when you have these heroes that you have, where it's just like, fuck, you can't be a fully developed, perfect person. I like Kratos. Kratos is an amalgamation of a lot of Greek heroes. And the fact is, he was a flawed character. His flaws were greatly on display, but his biggest flaw was hubris. And when he lost the hubris, then he went to, it's their fault. It's their fault. When in reality, it's my fault. And in all of the God of War's games, from 1, where he accepted that he fucked up, and he tried to take his own life, to 2 and 3, where he's like, damn, I broke the world, I fucked up, and he tries to take his own life. The metaphor gets old, but when you actually look at some of the heroes throughout time and history, some of the best ones are ones that have flaws. Some of the best ones are ones that aren't perfect. But when you have this perfect hero, you're always waiting for the next shoe to drop. Let's take it to modern history. Comparatively to 2, I've liked Captain America over Superman. They both are paragons of good. But Captain America actually knows he has a flaw. He is stuck in his ideological principles in ways where he knows that's a fault. Superman, not so much. The writers write him out of everything. But Captain America understands that, in the movies, actually gets his portrayal almost perfect to the T. Even Hydra Captain America has, we don't trade lives. There's always a better way. And he understands that to a fault, that sometimes that decisions fucks him up and fucks everything around him. The writers still try to write him out by having people that have just as strong convictions around him that's able to pick up for the shit that he fucks up. So, yeah. It's okay to look up to people. It's okay to have heroes. And it's okay to admit these heroes aren't perfect or have flaws. The Bill Cosby thing. I'm not mad that he got put in jail. I may not have liked the statute of limitations trickery that they did, but when she first came up with these allegations, she should have been heard. But no, too many people protected him because of his money and his status, that he was able to push out those statutes of limitations. So it's just one of those things where it's just like, you don't have to hero worship. And if I tell you this, if I ever get to a status where I have millions of fans, and you hear something bad about me, one, just know my character, not because of the great work that I do, or just because I seem like a okay guy, but never hero worship. I can't stress that enough. I can like somebody's work. I can enjoy somebody's work. And I can find somebody's work interesting. However, that doesn't make them infallible. That really doesn't. What that makes them is a person. All of this wrapping yourself around the identity of who you like or idea you believe, it takes away the power from you to make a decision, to be a thinking, responsible person. And I'm not saying this as some fucking, self-help bullshit. No, if you like shitty people, just admit that you're a shitty person. That's fine. It doesn't mean that you're 100% shitty. It doesn't mean you're 100% good or a paragon or a renegade. It doesn't make that. When you wrap your identity of who you are over a symbol of something, that just makes you intellectually lazy. This is coming from the guy who coins himself, God damn, I can't even say I coined myself intellectual. Can't even say I'm a free thinker because I'm a slave to my own logic. I encourage everyone who hears this clip, sees it, to say, how does somebody's art, how does somebody's story, how does somebody's history affect me? Would I make the same choice if I was in their shoes? Would I go along for the ride if I was standing there with them? Would I object? I know one thing. There's certain shit that I just couldn't roll with. And maybe that makes me disaffected. Maybe that makes me somebody who would ask why. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with people. I'm okay with being questioned. I am. Fuck it, I am. Because I'm going to give you a reason. And I'm not above saying because I just want to. No other reason. But a lot of people won't say that. They come up with some big mythical plan of saying that, oh, it's because of this and because of the invisible fairy in the sky. No. Dog. I wanted to punch you in the face because you pissed me off and I don't like it. There may be some other reasons behind that, and I'm not advocating violence. I don't want to actually say that. Never advocate violence. But I may tell you to go fuck yourself because you pissed me off. Why did you piss me off? Well, because I don't like what you said. I've already, it starts going to a regress of all this and that. Like, no, really, I just don't like what you said. So, I don't know. Maybe the criticism that I always get of I think too much, maybe that's too true. Yeah, I don't care. Because in the end, I'd rather think too much than too little. I'd rather account for those thoughts and those feelings, either be the smallest feelings of rage or the weakest feelings of just indignancy. Because in the end, I'm not going to hero worship. In the end, I know human beings come on a spectrum of good and bad, holy and evil. You know what's funny? It's funny when you see somebody that they're doing so many cognitive mental gymnastics where they're contorting themselves so much to just say or just come to the same conclusion. It doesn't bother them because they feel it makes them look like a bad person. And it does in that moment, but it doesn't mean that you're a bad person overall. And I don't know. Maybe I should develop the ability or not the ability to lie to myself. I lie to myself all the time, but to actually believe the lie. maybe I should develop the ability to reason on why I believe certain things, just to come up with some kind of built up, way of protecting my ego. But then again, I'd be whitewashing the truth. The truth is ugly sometimes. It's hard, difficult. And I'm not talking about being an asshole. Again, if you want to be an asshole, just say you want to be an asshole and cruel and mean. That's fine. Um, just admit to yourself that's what you want to be. But the truth comes with actually having a conversation with someone, expressing what's wrong instead of just being demeaning. I don't know. Anyway, guys, this video should have came early today, but I had to get ready to go to work after the laundromat. But I don't know. This is one of those things where it's shocking because this show from what was it? In it's Different Strokes season 3, episode 17, and it was originally aired on March 25th, 1981. God, that was 36 years. We're still going by the same playbook. Tell you what, if you feel bad enough that you have to whitewash history in order to make yourself feel better, acknowledge it. It's more cathartic to acknowledge wrongdoing than to try to stand by it because you like somebody or that person may have did some good. I don't know. You tell me. Leave a comment. I actually have a Discord server. When I get my phone back, I actually follow my Discord server a little bit better. You're gonna see more gameplay on my my Twitter channel, and as always, you can find me on my Twitter handle, all of which is Crimson60620. And by the way, guys, remember I have my DeviantArt page. But as for right now, we're gonna actually play it out.